Barakatuh. So previously we done sort of Falaq, and we look at the Nahu, the Quranic Arabic, and what it means. And we briefly touched on Surah Al-Nas, which is near enough the same thing, but we done some extra bits. So from the before we was talking about one is Ista'adha bihi, one is Ista'adha minhum, which bihi means you seek refuge with the individual or with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and minhum talk about you seek refuge from yourself. So we was talking about from last time what the difference between Surah Al-Falaq and Surah Al-Nas, as you already know. One, you seek refuge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and one, you seek refuge of Allah from yourself, your nafs. And some hadiths we was talking about in Sahih Muslim, where the Prophet Muhammad said, "Ma minkum min ahadin illa qad wakilla bihi qareen," which basically means there's none of you except that he has a companion. Now, qareen doesn't mean, mashallah, a subconscious thing. It means someone was born with you. This is part of your trial and tests. So if your qareen is good, then you be good. It's a fitna. You got your nafs, you got the qareen, and also you got shaitan mixed. You got three things, three forces that you have to deal with. Then we talked about how the Sahabas has asked the Rasul, have you got it as well? And he said, Na'am. Illa anna Allah a'ani alayhi fa aslama fala yu'miruni illa bi khair, which basically means, yes, I have a qareen, a companion. However, Allah has given me the power to overpower my qareen, my companion. And the only thing he does is to submit to Allah and order me to do good. Which means that if you do jihadun nafs, and you ask Allah, and you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for help and aid, the ista'adha, then Allah will make sure you overpower your qareen and overpower your nafs, which is very important. Now, the Surah Al-Ikhlas. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to write in Arabic, and then we're going to go through it, mashallah. We're not going to write the surah in Arabic. I'm going to write the explanation in Arabic, inshallah. Okay, so in Arabic, قولا جازما به معتقدا لها عارفا بمعناها. So what it's basically saying in this, so the only thing I'll write down is in Arabic, then I translate. So it's when you're being a student of law, as you want to do that, you have to immerse yourself, to test yourself, instead of writing the explanation, which you already know. So قولا, we already know a word, okay? Jaziman, so it's so kind of a firm word. When a firm one's been said, when you affirm saying, mu'taqidan, with a firm belief from the verb. What's the verb for this? Mu'taqidan. What's the verb? What's the masdar? The source. Mu'taqidan. Look at the word. I will do. I'll translate it for you. But what is this? But just looking at it, mu'taqidan. So if you look at the word properly, what's the masdar of this? Mu'taqidan. Good. What's the verb? Good. So here, mu'taqidan is talking to the maf'ul. Okay, so it's talking about the one who ties that belief. It's got then, so it's maf'ul, then it's mansub. So it means the one who possesses. Okay, when you ever see then, yeah, fata, this is mansub. So it's talking about the doer, the maf'ul, which is upon him, the one who ties with that belief, who keeps that belief. قولا جازما به معتقدا لها عارفا بمعناها. Did anyone wants to try and translate or try and get an understanding? Anyone? You want to try? MashaAllah. So, what is this? What's this saying in Arabic? Qaf and lam. Qul. Tayyib. So, all this saying, what I put down, is qul. So it's qawlan jaziman bihi. So he's talking about a firm word or a firm saying. Mu'taqidan is talking about with a strong belief and to know its meaning. So it's talking about when you say something, you give an instruction, you need to know firmly, I'm instructing you to do this, but there's a meaning behind why I'm saying this. So if I said to you, Farazan, mashallah, go to the shop, you will know now, but I'm instructing you and calling him because there's a reason why I called him. right? So that's what Jersey man is actually a verb or noun to say an instruction for why I called. Jersey man, colon Jersey man means a firm word, yeah, or firm saying. Mu'taqidan, with the belief and to know its meaning. So you have a firm belief of what you're saying and know its meaning at the same time. So when you ever see qul, then you understand that Allah is talking to people to say, look, with firm saying, with a firm belief, you have to pay attention. It's a fi'l amr. No, sahih. What you just put on the board is like an Arabic explanation of what qul is. So now I'll put the transliteration. Okay, a firm saying with a belief that he knows its meaning, because you can't instruct something without knowing the reason why you're instructing. It doesn't make sense. That is the translation of what I put down for what it is. A firm saying with a belief that he knows its meaning. So, for instance, if I ask you to do something, I will have to have the intention and know the reason why I call you for. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you have that firm saying, that meaning I'm calling you. Now, the reason why I'm calling you, you would know afterwards. But intentionally, I know why I'm calling you. Do you understand? You only know the reason why I'm calling you is when I tell you the instruction. I'll tell you what's going to happen. You understand what I'm saying? So a firm saying with a belief. So the firm saying is calling someone. Colon Jersey man. A firm saying with a belief. Jersey man bihi mu'taqidan, with a belief. Laha, that he knows. Arifan bima'anaha, its meaning. So we do this every day. I'll call you. I'll call you on the phone and I'm going to tell you something because I got something to tell you I know which is going to be important, but I wouldn't know until you tell me the situation. So that's what it means by firm saying. Yeah? What's the last word? Which one? The last word. Bima'anaha. So ba, mim, ain, noon, alif, ha. If you got time to. So yes, if I was you, I would try and write down Arabic as well as English, so you get used to writing and get used to put the shekel. Because when I'm translating, I have all of this was no shekel. I have to put the shekel in myself. The vowels, the harakats and stuff, I have to put everything myself. Okay. But I don't think it's the lighting. Well, you know, before you go down, take a picture afterwards. Okay. So that's what the definition of qul means. A firm saying with a belief that he knows its meaning. Okay. Let me know when you're ready for the next show, because the next one will be in Arabic. It's be slightly longer. All right. It might take you time to get your hands ready. MashaAllah, tabarakallah. This? Yeah. I didn't recognize it until you said that, actually. No, I didn't realize that. MashaAllah. I'm gonna put the next one underneath, and then you could do it. Yeah, mashallah. Yeah, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. I'm gonna put another Arabic word, but it's good to start off because you wouldn't know the understanding or have that feeling of Arabic if you don't have the understanding or that feeling in your hands how to write. Yeah, so I'm doing this purposely so you get that feeling to get used to it. Has everyone written it down? You write down mashallah. You want to count? So I'm going to put the next one that you still can continue, mashallah. Tayyib, bismillah. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. Well, I mean, you can, yeah. I had to translate all of this, so it took me an hour to to make sure, because some of these words can change in different harakat and stuff like that. So it took me an hour to think which one is this, which past tense is fa'ala, fa'alain. So you have to look at the tenses. So I'll read it. قد انحسرت فيه الأحاديث فهو الأحد منفرد باك بل كمال الذي لها الأسماء الحسنى والصفات الكمالة العلية والأفعال المقدسة لا نظير له ولا مثيله. Sorry, ولا مثيله. So I read the translation. I read what I've written down. So it's saying here, the oneness is confined. So if you know Lughat Arabiya, and hasirat, from the verb hasara, this is talking about confinement. Hasara is the masdar of this word. Qad an hasarat means the oneness is confined to him. So basically, this is a description here. Okay, it said al ahadiyatu. So it's talking about the confinement of his oneness is with him. Yeah. Fahuwa. So fahuwa la-ahidu, which is he is the one with the perfection of his oneness. So basically, it's talking about the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is to him, like Tawheed al-Rububiyyah. Yeah. Qul huwa Allahu ahad. The word ahad means there is nothing like him. Nothing. Because ahad is talking about special, it's unique. Not wahid. Wahid is numerical. Both of them are numerical, but wahid is talking about, just numerical gains, like wahid is named thalatha araba. Exactly. Well, which ahad is talking about specifically this particular one is too unique. Laysa kamithlihi shay wa huwa sami'un. We can finish it off. No, basir. There's nothing like him. He sees and hears all. Now, that's unique within itself. Yeah. I can't see, you can't see everything and hear everything at the same time without our brain gets scrambled. But he sees and hears everything. So in that situation, we could say, قَدْ أَنْحَسَرَتْ فِيهِ الْأَحَدِيَّةُ فَهُوَ الْأَحَدُ مُنْفَرِدُ فَكَمَالُ. So it's talking about the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, specific for him and his unique ability, right? It's because it's obviously kamal, kamala is the verb. Kamalu means completion, perfection. Okay, so it says the oneness is confined to him. He is the one with perfection, who has the most beautiful names and attributes, which I said here. The complete perfection. So wasifatul kamalatul. Kamal means perfection or completion from the verb kamala. Kamala means complete, to complete. Yeah. Wasifatul kamalatul uliyah. Now, uliyah is talking about his pureness. Yeah, his supreme. A'la, you know what a'la means, right? Most high. So uliyah is more definitive emphasis, description of the supreme. Yeah, so he's not just high now; he's supreme, which is highest. More emphasis on the word. Al-Dim is great. He said A'la means the most high, which is a descriptive word to say someone's high. But we said Uliya. Now that's more description and more emphasis to say he's not just high, he's the most supreme. Yeah. Fosbir. Right. Fosbir, so we know that have patience. Sabron, more emphasis on it, isn't it? More emphasis on the patient. Jamila descriptor, say what type of patience. So the same thing, it's saying a'la is the fasbir, sabran will be the uliya, means the more emphasis of how high he really is. So when we're saying ahad, yeah, we're talking about fahuwal ahadul munfaridul bikamalul. So it's talking about here, he in his confinement in his oneness, right? But with Allah, when it comes to his oneness, it means complete perfection in his oneness, that nothing could be with him. Do you understand now?
So was that
Uliya,
which means
supreme. So it's higher and more emphasis on when people say high. Yeah.
Did you say it's the same meaning as A'la, but just an emphasis on it?
Yeah. Actually, you know what? A'la and Uliya, same thing. But when we say, especially in Lughat Arabiya, it's more. It gets more oomph to it. Do you understand? Because you say, Masha A'la, A'la, A'la. You say, okay, he's high. Okay, Masha. No, he's not just Vahuan Uliya. Okay, now we get a bit more emphasis on what is stressed in that word now. But Shadda is a stressful word, right? It's stressed in that word. Uliya, we're talking about the how supreme, how high he really is.
It's not the word Akib coming up there. Akib?
Which one?
Akib? Can you emphasize something? I'm saying
Oh,
like
okay, Taqib. Taqib, yes, the emphasize, yeah. Because if you see in the Quran, there's a lot of emphasis, yeah, which is very important for Lughat Arabi. You got to know this. You see a lot of emphasis to show that how Allah really is in his attributes and his ability. Okay, Uliya wal af'alu muqaddasatu la nadhiru lahu wa la mathilahu. So he's talking about, so is sifat, okay, you know what sifat means, right? Okay, good. Completion or purification or perfection in his attributes of the supreme, of his highness, his supreme, superiority of everything, superiority, and his action. What does muqaddasatu mean? If I said subhun quddus, what does quddus mean?
it was pure.
Good.
Malik al-Quddus,
Okay.
Surah Al-Hashr.
Yeah. So it's hashad also, you say it when you're in sajda. Malik quddus. Quddus. Rabbul malaikati wurruh. So you're the yeah, it's like muqaddasituha, an example. But this is a description from the verb. What's the verb for this? What's the masdar? Qadassa. Yeah, qadassu. Right? If you put this, it's describing the ability. Yeah, the ability of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be upon him. So basically, Allah's attributes, an example. When we say maf'ul, this is maf'ul. Why is maf'ul? Because it means the action, yeah, that affects the individual. So Allah's ability, Ar-Rahman, his rahmah affects him, right, by having the extensive mercy to give to people. So if your attribute, like for instance, you're a sprinter, yeah, your ability to run very quick, right, has an effect on you because maybe genetic genes, an example, that you can run quickly. So that's the maf'ul. So you're the fa'il is the actual ability of running. That means the action. But the influence will be on the individual who's running. Yeah. So muqaddasatu mean Allah is pure anyway. Yeah. So within Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's ability, he has that ability to be pure, clear, clean from all things. Yeah. Same Ar-Rahman. He has the ability, the extensive ability, fa'alan is from the verb, fa'alan, to say he's got extensive ability to show mercy to people. Yeah. So Allah owns it and distributes it. So you can say maf'ul, maf'ul bihi, or mansub.
He's the indirect object.
Yeah, so the object would be
The object is the Rahmah.
Yeah, so be the fa'il, wouldn't it? You understand? So who's the fa'il is the one who's doing it. But the one who's affecting upon will be Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah's the subject, but his ability to do that would be the maf'ul. You understand? because he holds that ability upon with himself to give to people. Like if I was going to give you something, then you say, oh, he's generous. But what made me be generous? What did affect me before to make in order for me to be generous? That's fa'il and maf'ul. You understand? The fa'il is what made me be generous. It affected me. So I'm the effector, which be the maf'ul, the one who's doing the action of the doer. Yeah? So in this situation, you can say Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the most holy and the most pure, with Ar-Rahman, because that attribute belongs to him. I know it's over your head, but I'm just trying to emphasize why it's like that. So, okay, so let's go to nice, clear words of saying it. So, الكمالة العلية والأفعال المقدسة لا نذير له ولا مثيله. So it's talking about you. What's nadhar? What's nadhara? What does nadhara mean? Nadhara, nadhira. Okay, طيب. No, so it's talking about لا نذير له. So you will not see. You know, you will not see anyone. Lahu. The word laha, lahu, talking about him. You will not see anything like him. All right. Wala mathilahu, and you have no one similar or compared to him. Yeah. So this is a general context. I'll write in English. This is a general context about who Allah is. Why it's important to know who your Lord is, because once you know his sifat, his attributes and his names, and why those names are triggered, because that name is belonging to him. Why? This is mansub, something that he belongs to him, because he has the attribute to play on it. Yeah. That's why you need to know. When you're talking about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, do not be like some of these Sufis. Allahu, Allahu, mashallah. Okay, Allahu, you're calling me. What is it you're calling me? Allahu, Allahu. The subject, Allahu, 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 Allahu. How many times you keep saying Allahu? Okay, what are you going to give me on top of it? Nothing, just Allahu. Yeah, they pass out because too much energy is talking about Allah, 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 like he's going to do anything. Yeah, so you need to put something with it. So that's what Allah says. Call him by his beautiful names and attributes, and he will listen to you then. Yeah. So let me put the transliteration. Well, not transliteration, but my translation. So basically, this is all of Surah Al-Ikhlas. Basically, yeah. You can even say you can relate this to what I'm going to give you the reference. This is the reference point, by the way. What I'll put down in black here at the bottom, and I'll tell you what I mean by reference point to this. Yeah. Once you're ready, you got everything down. Now, Imam Ahmed and his Musnad. This one is Musnad. Chapter 5, reference 133. Ubay bin Ka'b. I put lineage of idols. Why would I put lineage as a reference point of idols? How is that reference point related to Surah Al-Ikhlas? Why is it referenced?
What does it say then?
Lineage idols, yeah.
MashaAllah,
Ahsant, MashaAllah. No. Ubay bin Ka'b narrated, didn't he? Yeah. He's the narrator when the Quraysh said, okay, we know about Izzah and all those people, but who's your Lord? Because everyone has to have a lineage. In the Quraysh, the main thing they go by is the lineage. So we know our lineage of who our Lord is. He was made from Uzbekistan, an example, mashallah, Nasheed the next day. But they don't even know who Prophet Muhammad's Lord is. And it's funny that because if you ask them who's your Lord, they say Allah. But they don't know if it's going to be the same Allah or it's going to be someone else. So hence why when they ask, what's your lineage of your Lord? That's where it came to. قولا جازما به معتقدا لها عارفا بمعناها. A firm saying with a belief, he knows its meaning. قل هو الله أحد. So who's that talk? Who's talking? Who's saying قل? Who's saying قل? Who's saying قل? See, say, yeah. Allahu Ahad. So you can see now, Fi'l Amr is the Qul. Allah is what? But yeah, but what's in Arabic? What is it? So qul is fi'l amr, is an order. But what is Allah?
He's the fa'il.
Yeah, he's the subject. Yeah, he's the mubtada. He's the subject in this. And ahad is what then? What's ahad? Yeah, it's unique, but what is it in Arabic? What do because he's what? What's ahad? What does ahad mean? Oneness, right? So if you say qul huwa Allahu ahad, Allah is one. Tayyib. So we know qul is a fi'l amr, is an order. We know Allah is a subject. Yeah. So what is ahad? What would that be in English? What would that be? Descriptive. Yeah.
No.
It's an ism. It's an ism. Majrul is talking about it's a harf jar, so it's talking about the natural state of the word
Oh yeah, I remember.
before followed by its preposition. Harf. Fi and min. So descriptive is like just adverb or something like in English. Maybe talk about the description of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah is a subject, isn't he?
Yeah.
So in Arabic, it's not like say John went down the road, so you know who he is. But in Arabic, it's like went down the road John in Arabic. So it's like the subject comes afterwards instead of being in the beginning. Yeah? Hence why Qul huwa Allah. The huwa is the damir, which means, who knows what damir means in English? Damiratun. So it's talking about a pronoun, like a cat. He, she, it. Right? Qul. Who's saying qul? Who are you talking to? Allah. Qul huwa Allah. So say Allah is one. He is the one I'm talking about. Yeah, because if I say kul, what do you want me to say? Say this. About who? You see how it follows? That's what the huwa, the damir is a pronoun. It's talking about someone.
Oh, I know it to tell them.
To tell them. So the huwa's emphasis is talking about this subject. Huwa Allah. You see how it's connected? Huwa Allah. Damir, which is the pronoun. Who are you talking about? Allah is the subject we're talking about.
Even like I was just thinking, when you had the final three verses, who Allah, so He is Allah.
Yeah, because that is now a description to say a definite article, a ma'rifah. A ma'rifah is talking about, although usually come in the beginning, but it's talking about a definite article. Who's Allah? Allah is a definite article, which is a subject here. You understand?
This call is coming from Allah Himself.
Because it's a fi'l amr, because I'm telling you to say this.
Allah is telling Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam
To say this. Which is very important because a lot of people don't understand it, just say it. But who's saying? So you don't want to be like these imams and shaking head, mashallah, seeing all pleasantry, and you're in cloud nine. But when you ask them, I don't know, mashallah, I don't know. I just read it from the Zero Pesh and all that nonsense, but I don't know what it means. Yeah.
Is it a set of like? I mean, is there loads of words that you can say I feel or is it something in the grammar that tells you it's
It's a demand. It's a command, isn't it?
Yeah. But I mean, like, is that like what are examples of the instruction?
Instruction. So I'll say,
Listen, go. Like, cool. And then
if'al, do. Isbir, patience. Qul. Qul with a qaf. Qul with a kaf. Eat. You understand? If I say ya'kulu, I mean you're eating. If I say qul. So longer to Arabiya, you see how it's connected to the tajweed of it, how you pronounce it. It's the same thing. It's just different rules. It's just changing the rules. You understand? And something called badal. Badal means you can change the sentence. So if I say Qul huwa Allahu ahad, I can say Qul Allahu huwa ahad, an example. I can change it. It means the same thing. We call it in Arabic badal. Badal means you change. You can change the structure of the sentence, which means the same thing. If I said, I saw Frank today. So we saw Frank today. If I said, an example, you should it still be the same context. It's just moving off the words. That's what we call in Arabic badal. Ba'da lam. Badal means you change the context.
Instead of saying this, you say the other one, but the same meaning.
Alhamdulillah. That's the same thing. MashaAllah.
about the context.
Got him.
I thought the Kuffar Quraysh, they already believed in Allah. Like they already.
What's the ayah I use?
Believed in Allah.
وَمَا أَكْفَرُهُمْ بِاللَّهِ إِلَّا وَهُمْ مُشْرِكُونَ. And Mujahid, who's a student of Ibn Abbas, radiyallahu anhu, he said this ayah is talking about Allah said a lot of them believes in Allah. Can you ask them who sends you rain? Allah.
Yeah.
Who gives you? Allah. But you're still committing shirk with Allah.
I understand that, but okay.
But you see what I mean? So what you're saying, I understand exactly. They should know Allah, right? They know Allah.
What is revealed?
Say again?
They know what's been like Surah Al-Ikhlas, yeah. They already have that concept of Allah in their mind, don't they?
Yeah, because Allah Ta'ala, they understand who Allah is due to the lineage, the Quraysh. Yeah. But when it comes to submitting, when Allah said, "Qul," when Allah said, "He say, Qul hu Allahu ahad," the Arabs instantly goes, "What? So what are you trying to say? You want to, you know what I mean, consolidate everything and forgive them and make me submit?" That's what it means. They know it.
So that ayah, yeah, to them it means worship Allah.
Yes, but it's not just worship Allah alone, because the same thing you're saying worship the idols, but it's a bit more stronger context. Because the Lughat Arabiya, it means something completely different than it is to say in English. Worship Allah. Right? Oh, cheers, man. No, you wouldn't say that, would you? Huh? Yeah, it means when you're saying Qul hu Allahu ahad, the Arabs get vexed with what? So you trying to say, forget everything of my forefathers, put Allah as the main one, is Tawheed Rububiyyah, Tawheed Asma Sifat, Ibadah, everything sacrifice. They understood it by this. This is why the poets themselves back then, they used to challenge, that Allah used to say, you know, the jinn of you, the mankind of you, the best of you, produce a surah like this. Forget the surah, Adnaya, you would never produce something like that, because the language is so rich. You understand? Not even the poets thought, they submitted and said, well, this is from Allah. This is definitely from Allah. This is not human. You see what I mean? It's the uluhiyah. It's the worship. It's that they don't want to forbade the forefathers' religion. Yeah, of course they do. Yeah, of course they do. It's natural. Like something happens. Oh God. If something happens, right? But when Allah said, when they saved him and put him to the safety of the shores, they forget him. Do you understand? Even if you're not associating, just forgetting Allah. So Allah say, you forget me, I'll make you forget yourself. You do what you want, no dhikr, nothing. Your heart is hardened like a brick. No, sorry, a brick's much more softer. That's how hard your heart would be. So this is very big. So if you mastered Surah Al-Ikhlas just by its definition and understood it and act upon it, that's more than enough than what you need to go and follow next. You understand? That's Tawheed there. Okay, so you got this?
Yeah, I took a picture as well.
Good. So you understand why I use as a reference point about Ubay bin Ka'b, about the lineage of the idols. Because this is exactly what they asked for Rasulullah in the beginning of his prophethood. Okay. I know how you find it. You find it okay? It's okay, yeah? It's something different?
Very different.
MashaAllah. I love it. Keep it that way. Okay.
Through the grammar that you understand what the word is.
Of course. The lineage here? So the Arabs are traditionally known, right, by looking at people's lineages, the ancestry lines. Yeah. Hence why it's locked. Even today in Saudi Arabia, they will always ask, where are you from? Who's your father? Your father from who? Father from who? And it goes back.
So basically about the lineage thing, I just wanted to make a note of that. So you said that they would ask the Prophet about.
Yeah, because traditionally they're known to ask about people's lineages. Abu Bakr and Sadiq, master of lineage. Who asks, okay, you're from this place, you're from that place, and that means you're from there. And they see, okay, you're from this tribe. Yeah? So even up to today, if you went to Saudi Arabia and they look at you, they would say, where are you from? Yemeni. Which part of Yemen? Why this? Are you from this tribe, that tribe? So they link it back. So the Arabs, it's nothing new. This is culture. They ask where you from. So that's what Allah. Who's your Lord? Who's your Lord? Allah said, I'm intervening. I'm representing myself here. That's the first person. Qul. You say this to them. Yeah, you understand? Very powerful stuff. It's Surah Al-Ikhlas may be small, but it's very powerful once you understood it properly. Are we happy with this? Yeah. Okay. That's the title. To me, this is the biggest explanation. Okay. And when I write in Arabic, then you understand why I translate it. So here it says al-maqsuda. Al-maqsuda is from the verb qasada. Qasad means to intend. Yeah. Maqsudu, al-maqsudu means the intention or the purpose for this, right? So the verb, the masdar is qasadal. Qaf sad dal means to attend. Yeah, like intention, your aim. Yeah. المقصود في جميع الهوائج. So it's talking about the intention behind this, or the aim is for everyone, that everyone's in need. Yeah. Hawa'ij means a need. Needs. That's what it means, need.
Al-Maqsood.
Al-Maqsudu.
Is this Ra?
So meme, qaf. Oh, this one?
Yeah.
Okay. Sad, wow.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because you can,
Yeah.
because you can see here.
All right.
MashaAllah, make it a bit more clear, MashaAllah. المقصود في جميع الهوائج. So he's talking about the tension for this is that everyone is seeking refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala due to a need, right? Although you see how few words can give you 2 lines of English. That's how rich it is. فأهل العلم علم العالم. What does alim mean? Oh, alim means how I just said it.
Someone of knowledge.
Alhamdulillahi Rabb
Lord of the worlds.
Alam. The word alam is singular for world. Huh? Yeah, mashallah. Yeah, mashallah. Alam. So you get used to hearing the words. Alam is a singular for world. Alameen is plural for worlds. Yeah. Well, alam basically means someone who has consciousness. So it means any world or any creation that has a consciousness. So when you read Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, it doesn't just mean, oh Lord of the worlds. It means Lord of his creation that has consciousness, because it's from the word alama, means to know, means consciousness. Alam, we're talking about this world, asla. And ulwiya was sufliya, sufliya. So uliya was sufliya, it's talking about the upper. Yeah, uliya, like a'la, high. This one, so the scriptures of uliya means upper, higher. You know, in Pakistan, for instance, you got different in Africa or everywhere, Arabs, they always got a different caste system, haven't they? Yeah, you're from Mirpur, you're from here, Karachi, and all that. Mashallah. So this is like the same thing in the uliya or sufliya, upper and lower. So what does it mean? It means someone who's down in status, lower class, and upper class. So what it says that المقصود في جميع الحوائج فأهل العلم العالم العليا والسفلية. Talk about the tension behind this is this, that you seek refuge in Allah from the need, for everyone's need. So you seek refuge in Allah in general for everyone due to their need. Yeah, I'll write down in English anyway. And the people of knowledge knows of this. Yeah, the people of knowledge knows of this. Or those who seek in the ilm knows what samad means. Yeah. And uliya was sufliya, so talking about the upper and lower class in terms of the status. This is a very important word here. Muftaqirun. Muftaqirun is from the verb taqara, which means needy, lacking, desperate, destitute. Yeah, someone who's really poor. Third world countries, Philippines, some parts of Africa, some parts of India, an example, or the Asian continent. Muftaqirun. Yeah, muftaqirun. Yeah, muftaqirun. Taqirun. Oh, taqirun. I'm talking about something else now. Taqiruna. Yeah. Taqiruna. That's it. Muftaqiruna. Okay. Because I read something yesterday. It said muftaqirun. I just used that one. So yeah. Muftaqiruna is talking about the destitute one, the one who's severely lacking, who can't make ends meet. Right? So this is why you look at Syria, Afghanistan. Muftaqiruna. These are the people we're talking about. إليه غاية الافتقرار, which basically is talking about I'm not going to translate this. It's talking about destination. غاية غاية. It's talking about the needy. So the needy who's within that destination. Yeah. The needy and the poor, which is in the destination. So, for instance, we're talking about Syria, we're talking about Afghanistan. These are destinational places where there's most needy people, as well as the general concept of Britain and everyone else. Yeah. So I'm just using the ghayatun. Ghayatun is an example of what it means by destination. Yeah. Taqari yas'alunaha hawaijuhum. So these people who's in a deep destitute or desperate situation will ask Allah. Yas'alunaha hawa'ijum. So they ask Allah for their need that they need, for their needs for that particular situation. وَيَرْغَبُونَ إِلَيْهِ فِي مَهَامَتُهُمْ. And the desire and the will to provide, right? To provide for them when they ask. لأنه كامل في الأوصاف, which means that what's kamil? What's kamil? Kamil. Kamala. What's kamil? We just talked about it. Huh? Kamil. Completion or perfection. Yeah. So ربون إليه في مهامتهم لأنه الكامل في أوصافه. So it's the main subject is Allahu Samad, right? So the general context, which I will put in English anyway, is that the people of ilm will write down, this is intended for everyone who's in need. Everyone's in need, right? Everyone in need in the world, from the upper and lower class, doesn't matter what you are, rich or poor, you're in need, right? Muftaqiruna is talking about the one severely lacking in wealth and basic day-to-day, situations, needs that they need. So these are the people who the description, aftaqiri. These are the people who are poor, desperate, desolate, live in poor conditions. Qiyatun, talking about in terms of different plots of destinations, will ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, desiring that their need it will be met due to they understand of kamilu fi, yes, oh safahi, because this is the harf jar here, so it takes a kasra, in his attributes. Do you understand? So if you cry to Allah, you moan, you this and that, because you know Allahu Samad, the one who's a self-sustainer, knows your situation, and you're going to be asking him. You're not going to ask King Richard down the road, an example, you know what I mean, for his wealth, or Ahmed, mashallah, wealth, but they even want to give you one dinar, mashallah, throw some dead chips at you or something. Yeah? So you ask the main source, is As-Samad. If you don't ask him, then you'll be punished. Anyone knows the surah?
Call upon your Lord, those who are too arrogant to worship him.
Good. That's one. That's Surah Ghafir, chapter 60, ayat 40. وقال ربكم ادعوني أستجب لكم إلا الذين يستكبرون عن عبادتي سيدخلون جهنم داخرين. So your Lord said, with Zafir al-Amr, that you must call upon me.
Is that the proof for saying that dua is ibadah, dua is worship? Because Allah says, call upon me.
That is worship, yeah. That is worship. That's one of them, yes. And also you can look at Surah Al-Fajr. فَأَمَّا الْإِنسَانُ إِذَا MashaAllah. That's what I like. I already spoke about you three about this before. Yes. So he's talking about those. So that is to two ayats to prove that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he says when he takes the wealth from them, they start to moan, Allah doesn't love me anymore. I've got 20 grand wedding, 50 grand wedding to pay for. Allah doesn't love me. Oh my God, I don't know. But not thinking that, hold on, zakaha. He's purifying you, right? As-samad. Self-sustainer. He's the one who gives you wealth. Which you can put this, he doesn't need anyone. Yeah? You need him. Always remember that. No matter how much, what good job, 50 grand, 60 grand. Don't walk around with a little chest coming out. And you know what I mean? I'm only 5 grand this month. Yeah, watch me. Don't give me all that. All I can say, okay. So you've only 5 grand, mashallah. Okay, right. So what we're gonna do right now, Ahmed, we're gonna take him down to £1 a day. Give that 5 grand to someone else, mashallah. Goes to look, his bank balance is all gone. Oh Allah, don't hate me. And that's it. Arrogance is the key. So, in English, okay. So, المقصود في الجميع الهوائج فأهل العلم العالم العلوية والسفلية مفتقرون إليه غاية افتقار يسألونها هوائجهم ويرغبون إليه في مهماتهم لأنه الكامل في أوصافه. So basically what I put down, if you can't read it, I can just read it for you. What is meant or stroke intended is that everyone is in need of seeking refuge in Allah, regardless of their upper or lower status. Yeah? They are in desperate need of him. They will ask him due to their lacking resources and poor outcomes. They turn to him with high aspirations due to their knowledge of his perfected attributes. That is what as-samad is. So if I'm the rich person, naturally you're going to come to me. If I'm the richest one in your city, especially if you know me, or you don't know me, you get this. And we can relate this to something as well, as because you know you're allowed to call yourself samad. Yeah?
What's that from linguistic?
Linguistic means self-sufficient, because back in, yeah, you can't say as-samad. Yeah, they're self-sufficient. You can say Abdul Samad. Some people say Samad. My name's Samad. Means just sufficient, right?
What about I say people say like
Jabbar is fine. Al-Jabbar, no, because al is prefix. Say the only. Yeah,
somebody
just sufficient. Sufficient. Yeah, but Samad sufficient. Yeah, but if Abdul Samad, mean you're the slave of. Samad is fine. You can say Rahman, but obviously you're not going to say my name's Rahman, are you? You're going to say Mercy. My name's Mercy, but it doesn't make sense. It doesn't sound right as well. You say Abdul Rahman, but you're allowed to say Samad because some of the Qurayshi back in the days in Jahiliyyah, they call themselves Samad, right? Because it's self-sufficient. Samad. Yeah.
There are some people that say that you can't say, or you can tell your son or whatever, somebody with the name of Allah. Somebody is the only Allah. You can name your son Abdul Samad, Abdul Jabbar, Abdul Wahid. Is that correct?
That's correct. But if you're going to say, okay, that's present, and me, I'm Samad, not as-Samad, Shamsiyya, as-Samad. Say Samad, it just means self-sufficient. You know, you're okay. For instance, I'm self-sufficient. I'm Samad, meaning I bring the money in. Alhamdulillah, with Allah's mercy. You are independent employer, locum. You're a private worker. That's self-sufficient, self-employed, right? That's what Samad means. So if you say as-Samad, then there's a problem because now you put a definite article to you. So that means you're always self-sufficient regardless. You see the difference? Exactly. Which is shirk. I know people call themselves Jibreel. I said, why are you putting Malaika's Angels.
I think what you mean. Not practicing.
Yeah, I heard you're not allowed to be called like Mikael and Jibreel. You're not allowed to be called. You can't be called angels' names.
Why would you call yourself an angel? You go to toilet. Huh? Yeah, no.
Yeah,
I think what you
They haven't got knowledge. They wouldn't know. Bless them. But I seen someone know what of lies picking my sister many years ago when she was in junior school, and it's called Rabia School, and one they called in their children, it's Riba. There. I said, who's that? They call the child a Riba. I'm thinking, why you call yourself interest? What's your interest? Are you putting in the bank? Are you making more profit? How would it be lost this? Yeah.
What about the name of the prophet or name of a surah? You know, my uncle, I think he named his child Yasin.
Yasin is fine. No, Yasin is fine. Yasin is fine. Yasin is fine. Yasin is fine. Yes, that's fine. It's fine. There's no hadith to say you can't call yourself Yasin. If you want to call yourself Baqarah, if you want to call the cow, that's no problem. Ankabut, you call yourself spider. But the point being, there's certain things you can call yourself and certain things you can't. Do you understand? So people say Sayyid. Okay, what does Sayyid mean? What do you think Sayyid means?
Pakistanis love the word because they say it means that you're related to the Prophet.
Yeah, they say, yeah, they try to relate to the Prophet Sallallahu. They say you're like the Shi'i. Oh yeah, relating to the Prophet. It doesn't mean anything. You know, I'm Sayyid, mashallah. Oh, yes. The thing is, it doesn't matter if they are not. It doesn't matter because, like for instance, the king in Morocco, he's got the direct lineage of Rasul Sallallahu. And we go, oh wow, and I think, so that mean nothing to me. Let me see what he does. Clean shaven, suit, like Ikhwani. I'm not being funny. What kind of what's someone who's spit in your mouth the way you're carrying on? Now it's interesting you said that. Abu Lahab, that's not his real name. However, that's good. Yeah.
No, I said that because he's a lineage and he's in the...
No, I know, but it's there's something related to him about that Abu Lahab. Abu Jahl. Abu Jahl. Can't remember his full name now. Abu Lahab is Abdul Muttalib. But that's another thing we're going to cover when we hit that surah. Then we get more technical about the lineage, who's who and who's why is this and that. But this is very important. Yeah, المقصود في جميع الهوائج فأهل العلم وعالم وعلي والسفلية مفتقرون إليه غاية افتقار يسألونها هوائجهم ويرغبون إليه في مهماتهم فأنه الكمامن في أوصافه. So it's very important. And this is from the Sheikh's book, all of this. I just have to translate. Okay, so to translate, this is the nearest meaning you would get after brain busting things. It's very hard to see which was closer. So basically, this general description is that everyone's in need, no matter what caste you're, no matter if you're king, no matter if you're a pauper, no matter if you're this or that, you're still in need of Allah because your resources are very limited. Which one? Saying that, Samad, what have I just taught you now? What is that related? What surah does this relates to? Read the English if you don't understand Arabic, obviously, but what is it relating to? What can you relate this to? What surah? It's a story in the surah itself. Big time story. Everyone should know this. Wealthy Israelite. Wealthy Israelite. It's one of Beni Israel. Wealthy. Why you say not Karun? It's Karun. Not Karun. Yes, Karun. That's all. Yeah. La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. Night classes for you, son. And so Karun is sort of Kahf. Yeah? You know about the Karun? You heard about Karun sort of Kahf? So basically, there was it's children from Israel. You know, Moses' children of Israel. And what's happened? One of them was a cousin, because they're all related to Moses. He was a sellout. You know how sellouts are, even nowadays. Oh, mashallah, I do this for you. Faisal, mashallah, he done this. Oh, go for him. 50,000, thank you. He was like that. He sold him out. So the king of Pharaoh back then will say, what do you think about this? Because he was intelligent, mashallah, Allah's given intelligence, but it was a fitna for him. So he was in charge like the minister of, in terms of stock taking wealth, because he's the only one who does mathematics. Back then, they were like slaves, building pyramids to exalt, billah, Pharaoh's, ego. So what happened? He forsake his lineage. So I'm not one of these people, although he's from the children of Israel. So the king saw him, so he knows from the children of Israel, but he's in good use to him. So he forbade himself and his lineage and the Tawheed of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and became slave of who? Slave himself as well as Pharaoh. So he works for Pharaoh directly. Lofty position in mashallah, big palaces. He had big off keys, I mean fat keys, maybe the same size as this, a key. And he had to have big elephants to lift it. And he said, mashallah, look at me. You know what I'm saying? Mashallah, as-samad, mashallah, the head all moving, kiss my ring, all this nonsense, the women, all this nonsense, yeah. But he was so arrogant that he thought he can maintain himself. And he said, look what he said, but just like Pharaoh said, what did he say in Surah Al-Ikhlas? فَقَالَ. Good. From now on, I want the Arabic with the English. I don't want to hear that. I want to your section, mashallah. But you got no reason. Mashallah, uncle, mashallah. Yeah? فَقَالَ رَبُّكُمْ yeah? أَنَا رَبُّكُمْ الْأَعْلَى فَأَخَذَهُ اللَّهُ. Come on, boys. Yeah? So Allah seized him for what he said. He said, I am your Lord, the Most High. Right? And Allah took him and punished him. Same thing what Qarun said. He said, nah, mashallah, it's all about me. Kiss my rings. All that. So one of the slaves said, well, don't you remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you this? He said, no, I done it all myself. So okay, Allah said, okay. Now you want to think you're Jabbar. Now you're proud. Mashallah, somehow this what okay. Remember, I made you from alaq. I mean, alaq, what's in the English? Yeah, clots, yeah. A mughlaq, yeah, like a clot or formed tissue-looking thing. I made you from that, and you think you're strong? SubhanAllah. So Allah punished him, make an earthquake to suck him in. All his treasures. So this is why in Surah Al-Kahf, Allah has shown us a lesson that the treasures of Qarun is more than anything you ever seen. You can be rich internally, the amount of treasures he had. But who will have access to those treasures? Who will have access to those treasures as a manipulation to mankind? Who's the big manipulator? The biggest manipulator, not even, huh? That's the one. He will have access to those treasures. So manipulator, the biggest liar, the manipulator, Allah will subhanahu wa ta'ala given the power for the winds and the skies, just like Sulaiman, yeah, the jinn. Yes, Allah gave him that power as a fitna, and you have the treasures of the Qarun.
I thought they went
where the treasure of the Quran?
They're gone. They sucked up under the earth. Allah knows how and when. Just like George and Matt George.
They will come back.
They will come back, but we don't know how. They're still living. They're still living. Although to us could be dead, but they're still living. That's why the hadith goes, when they hit the wall, they make a small hole and they come back. And one day they will say, Inshallah, and then the hole get bigger and bigger and bigger. That means they're still living, but we don't know where. You understand? Like, Dajjal is around, but we don't know where. You understand what I'm saying? But they're saying it's more to do with Iraq, because of the Shi'ism and the Dajjal's around that area. A lot of scholars has mentioned. George and Matt George, they have the description of the Chinese people. Sheikh bin Baz rahimahullah has mentioned in his audio that when someone asked a question, he said from the hadith is clear from Sin. Sin means China. The description is exactly how the Chinese people look. That's the Ya'juj and Ma'juj will look. But we don't know when or where. Do you understand the point? But the point I'm trying to show you this, how a samad can be linked to two things. If you look at, sometimes you look at the Quran, it's always reflecting to previous surahs. Surah Al-Kahf, Qarun, huh? And Fir'aun, Nazi'at, and Taha, all of that, because they think they're a samad, which means you've gone beyond. You've done Tagha, which means what? What's Tagha?
He made himself a false god.
Tagha, Taghut, Tagha. From the verb Tagha means to overstep. you went too far. Yeah? Oppress yourself. Yeah?
That's what that would
Taghut is plural. No, it doesn't mean false God, but
Something that you will take as worship.
we will attribute it to. Like if I said tagha, for whom tagha, yeah, that means you went far. You oppress yourself. You came out of the boundaries. Taghut is plural for you oppress yourself. You went way too far.
Something that you give some of Allah's attributes or one of Allah's.
Yeah, but that's talking about ibadah. We're talking about linguistically what the word is. So I can use it in Lughat Arabiya, you know,
Not in like a bad way.
in a bad way, of course it is. You went too far. If you hurt someone,
So negative.
it's a negative, yeah. You went too far. Yeah?
Overstep boundaries.
Yeah.
In a bad way. Can't mean that.
If I said ضربت كثيرا, yeah, you hit this person too much. That's tagha. You've gone past that level. You understand? Taghut in relating to the deen now, yes, idols, and you should know that because shirk is in itself is a massive overstep. So when people call themselves as-samad, that's a big shirk. Yeah,
Samad is okay, but not as-samad.
that's correct. Because samad means self-employed. If you're describing someone, you can say ana samad. Ana samad means I'm self-employed, I'm self-sufficient, no problem. If you say ana samad, there's a problem. Okay, now you're connecting because Allah Samad, this is from the Haruf Shamsiyah. Have you know what Haruf Shamsiyah? Okay.
Yeah, where it's like the alif lam, but you pronounce the lam.
Good. You pronounce the sad. That's
So alif lam
Shamsiyah.
like the, so it's like the.
It's like, yeah, so you missed that. It's like basically saying the, but you instead of doing that, you go connect it straight to here. So you say Allah, the.
The is like the the
Definite.
Yeah.
This is ma'rifah. Yeah, write it down, ma'rifah. Okay, here is called ma'rifah.
Indefinite is an
Ma'rifah. But if I said just samad by itself, that would be called nakira. Nakira. Nakira.
samad is
Nakira. Samad. You're describing now. Because people say you're self-sufficient.
Nakira, it's not.
It's general.
specific to a thing,
General.
yeah.
It's general. Ma'rifah means it's known. Al-ma'rifah means it's known. It's a definite. Allahu mubtada subject al-ma'rifah. Yeah?
say in English able or
If you say the boy,
but if you say that, it's the definite.
is that word the is the definite article, which is al-ma'rifah. If you say a,
No.
yeah, if you say a in general, it will be in general.
If you call somebody else other than Allah, the someone, that means
That's shirk. Yes, that's
So
a ma'rifah which you don't want to. Al-ma'rifah, the known. Or you say ma'rifah, no problem, all the same. Nakira, same thing. So what I want to show you, this is al-ma'rifah. It's very important in Lughat Arabiya because you need to understand why with conviction. Remember I said qawlan, what's the one I said? Jaziman. Qawlan jaziman. Yeah? Firm saying. Allahu Samad is a firm saying. Is it okay? You understood what I'm saying? MashaAllah, subhanakallah. So always when you look at these things, always trying to bring examples to yourself to make sense. Oh, this is how it's connected. I call it donkey bridges, right? So you think, oh yeah, that's Samad. Who's arrogant? What's the opposite of it? Okay, Qarun, Fir'aun. Why? Do you understand what I'm saying? Then you have a better understanding of what Allah is and what the pretenders, fake people are. Yeah? Have we got all this down? So always when you do read the Quran, do you even pick up an English Quran and you will see they always relate to a different surah. Always. Inna alladhina amanu wa amilu salihat. Okay, this was surah. Don't go back to this surah. It means this. It jumps. So I'm doing exactly the same thing with the Quran would. Are we happy with this? Did you understand what's going on here and how you can relate this to different people? Yeah. Are you ready? Are you happy? MashaAllah. Wait till you finish. Wait till you finish.
The last line. Yes.
This one?
No.
This one?
Yeah.
Aspirations due to their knowledge of his perfected attributes. When you call upon Allah, you know when it said about the one who memorized the 99 names of Allah, although there's not 99 names as a proof, it's many more things you do know and things we don't know. Yeah? But what it means, perfection, kamila, completion, it means you understand what it means, what you're calling. So if I'm calling Allah, which is the greatest name, okay, it covers everything, but if I'm calling for rizq, I'll say what? Good. So use the names accordingly. That's what Allah says. Call him by his most beautiful names and attributes. Do you understand? Okay. So here, what we got? العليم الذي قد كمل في أمله الحليم الذي قد كمل في حمله الرحيم الذي كمل في رحمة الذي وسعت رحمته كل شيء وهكذا سائر وصافه ومن كمله أنه. So, who wants to try and break that down? MashaAllah. Okay. So, it's talking about the knowledge. Ilmu, we know what ilmu is, right? So, it can mean the knowledge, but basically it means the knower. The knower who has perfection, who has perfected his knowledge. So, basically it's saying that Allah, the all-knower, is the one who has perfection in his knowing. Do you understand? So if I say to you, you're a teacher, but what makes you a teacher? Because you have perfected your science of different categories of education, or you perfected this particular thing. Hence why one's called an alim. Alim means the one who perfects, who knows to a certain good degree certain sciences. So Allah is indefinite, isn't it? Fa'alan, which means extensive. العلم الذي قد كمل في عمله. So the one who knows, the all-knower is the one who perfected his knowing. Yeah, he has knowledge of all things, basically. Halim. What does Halim mean? What does Halim mean?
Forbearing.
Good. Al-Halim الذي قد كمل في حمله. So the forbearing is the one who has has perfected.
What does it mean by forbearing?
How can I give an example of forbearing? Yeah, it's like saying Ra'uf. Ra'uf, ya Sheikh. Ra'uf, Ra'uf. What is Ra'uf in English? Ra'uf. Ra'uf. Means the one has pity. Yeah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is like having pity on that Halim. So you do something wrong. Or actually, if you're doing something good as well, Allah's forbearing that. So, okay, I'll be patient with this. I will give you more time to perfect what you're doing. I will help you with what you're doing right now. And he's forbearing in terms of, remember, Allah's always having a high level, yeah, for all human beings. So if he's forbearing, he's thinking like, okay, you might fall short in this, but I'll be patient. I'll support you, because the difference between patient and forbearing is that patience you can be, I'll wait and wait, no problem. But forbearing, you have patience as well as supporting. So if you do something good, Allah's forbearing, say thank you. It's like shukr. Thank you for doing that. Keep doing it. Yeah. So you're forbearing. It's like a quick. It's like another act of mercy, but in a different way. So you're being patient as well as you supporting the individual, like our parents. Yeah, our children. We'd be forbearing for them, wouldn't we? Okay, you can see what they're trying to do, and you're trying to support them and remind them this is what you need to do. So showing patience and support at the same time. So the one who's got extensive forbearance, yeah, he's the one who's perfected in the attribute of forbearing. Yeah, you get it now? The all-knower has perfected the attribute of knowing all things. You get it? The forbearer is the one who perfected the attribute in forbearance. Yeah? الرحيم الذي كمل في رحمته الذي وسعت رحمته. So again, the most merciful, he's the most merciful who perfected that attribute of having mercy. Yeah? الذي وسعت. What's وسعت? What's وسعت? What's sad? What does it mean?
I'm thinking like, obviously,
Okay, what's wasi'a? Wasi'a. If you say um al-ghurfatu wasi'un. What am I saying? Okay, it's good, but what does wasi'a mean? Al-ghurfatu, I'm saying like an Arabic sentence now, because this is an Arabic word. Al-ghurfa, yeah? Or you could say, uh, I don't know. The room, yeah. Al-ghurfatu wasi'un, right?
Oh,
What's wasi'un?
big,
Go on.
big, spacious, empty.
Good, spacious, extensive. Yeah, wasi'un. Khabar is the wasi'a. Khabar, that's information because it takes a tanween. And mubtada always takes one dhamma. Okay, wasi'un means extensive. Wasi'at means his extensiveness. All right. So his mercy, he's ar-Rahim, the most merciful, who has perfected in his attributes of mercy, and also who has extensive mercy. So it's not just he's not just perfected his mercy. He have extensive mercy. Hence why the hadith is 99 parts of Rahman, Rahim, an example of Rahman, and one part extends over his creation. Yeah, extends is from the verb fa'lan, which means always big. Rahman, Rahim, Ghaffar, Wadud. It's always extensive, right? Which we are very short. I love you. That's it. 10 minutes later. I hate you. We always do it. Yeah? This one's extensive. Kullu shay. What does kullu shay mean?
Everything.
Everything, mashallah. وهكذا سائر وصافه ومن كامله أنه. What does that mean? What do you understand by that? وهكذا سائر وصاحفه ومن كامله أنه. Nearly there. So we talk about all his وهكذا being and this, and talk about this. وهكذا, this is the full description of his pure actions that's belonging to him. Yeah, because no one can have action like this. So again, go back to As-Samad, Ahad. Nothing is like him, because it's like, for instance, you promoting your goods. You're going to say, but you're not going to find nothing better than this. But why wouldn't I? You have to prove why. True. Same thing. Allah's not having no salesman in his office like 9 to 5, but he's just showing you, I'm bigging myself up. A Jabbar. I'm bigging myself up because I know, which you do not know. I created you, so of course I'm going to tell you. You understand? Yeah? Do you understand that? Do you understand what it means now? Okay, mashallah. You got it there? Keep going, mashallah. So basically I put down the all-knowing who has, well, it's supposed to be the one who has, right? So put the one who has. So put the one, yeah? In there. The all-knowing, comma, the one who has perfected his attributes of knowing, yeah? The forbearing, comma, the one who has perfected in his attribute of forbearance. The most merciful, the one who has perfected his attribute in his mercy, and he is also the one who has extensive mercy to all things. So all of his descriptions and its likes are pure and from his perfected qualities. Yeah.
What is the last one in Arabic?
Kamalahu annahu. So yeah. Do you want me to write it a bit more clearer? Shall I write it a bit more clearer? Oh, sure, no problem. Okay. So Shaitan's coming out to play even more now for Ramadan. He's hungry, isn't he? To annahu. Okay. So when we talk about annahu, it's like lahu. Talk about for him. Okay. Online, this is very important because once you understand the basics of what this is and who Allah is, and you have a firm now acknowledgement of what these qualities are, you know that you are safeguarded, you are protected truly. But you can't just say through your lips, because the Khawarij and other sectors will do that. As the Prophet Muhammad said in the Hadith of Sahih, he mentioned that these people, these sects back in his time, so you never beat them. They will beat you in terms of your ibadah in Quran. But it never passed their throat means the meaning. Yeah? So this is why we need to not just perfect it, but truly understand it and utilize it. Otherwise, you just be like the Yahudi who's like similar to a donkey. You carry the books on your back, but you don't know the content and act upon it. It's just embarrassing, like the Christians. Look, God help you all, but you don't practice it. You're saying God going on, but you sing drinking. So what kind of God is this you're going to? The power invested in me, or the imams pierce up. Come to me, come to me. You touch them, they're doing all backflips and all sorts, kissing their feet. What's this about? This is what the Sufis and the Abanis and Belvis, when they get the Pirsab coming from obviously Asian continent, they come and say, oh gosh, he's a Shah. You know what I mean? Oh, Shah. Quick, wife, go out. I'll divorce you, marry him. And things like that. So these are the things that we can't take the haqooq of Allah, mean the haqq of Allah, to the slaves. You can't. This is what we call in Arabic tamthil. Tamthil means to resemble. Again, this will be my aqidah lesson. So you understand these ideologies and how the imams see things. And this will test you how your aqidah is as well as your manhaj. This will show about Salafiyah. This is Salafiyah. Manhaj and aqidah. 100% pure. There's no bits and bobs in it. If you want 100% chicken, you don't want no or sausage. You don't want these rubbish biscuits, digesters, ghee in there. You just want 100% meat, don't you? That's how pure aqidah of Salafiyah is. No nonsense. This? No, you're not upon this. It's not about upon Salafiyah, but upon the correct way of knowing your Lord. One of the surahs, when I go to tafsir, you will see it's got one of the sets mentioned there. Your favourite bit. One of the sets. And there, when I go for the tafsir, then you understand why I said what I said. So we got this. You know, when I finish teaching the basics and then we go more intense, I guarantee you, with Allah's mercy, it always happened like this, from my experience. The more you gain, the more you get tested.
You're sleeping now. As in tested what through like
No, but isn't that having like a hadith about the more?
No, I mean people.
I thought you'd been tested in life.
Yeah.
The more knowledge you get,
More tests you get, of course you would.
the more
Yeah,
severe the test.
yeah, because it improves your taqwa. It's not the more you know, it's the more you act upon it, the more you think. Allah said in Surah Al-Ankabut, what's the first ayat He says? Go on. Exactly. So Allah wants to show لِيَبْلُوَكُمْ, which means what?
which one of you is truly best indeed?
Okay, so Allah, that's why you got the soldiers of Allah and the soldiers of Shaitan. There you go. So if you're going to be the Hizbullah, not the one from Iraq, Hizbullah here, subhanAllah. And Hizbullah means the purity, the party of Allah, yeah, who's an ambassador. Because every Muslim woman is an ambassador of Allah, yeah, and you're going to be asked about that. So why don't you delve into the ilm and implement it? Your mum and dad will ask you. Your mum and dad, you mum and dad definitely will go for you. You too, you know, get uncles. Well, even me, I get it. Plenty of times from people who I don't even know. I see you said this and this. What are you talking about? Then we have a conversation. I've been tested to see how I'm truthful. Allah said He made an enemy from amongst the people. An enemy could be someone who can either take you out here or take you on here. But what are you gonna do? I don't know, mashallah, I'm just learning. No, you can't say. You gotta be ready. You gotta be ready. No excuse.
Because you're saying basically, your experience, the more we learn, the more trials and tests.
You will see the difference when shaitan is trying to lead you straight and when shaitan's trying to test you, and when Allah is protecting you. You will see a difference in your knowledge. By your knowledge, you will see a difference. You've got no ilm, then you don't know who's testing who. You think, oh, mashallah, I'm fine, but realistically, no, you're with shaitan. You won't be able to distinguish.
Last time you have knowledge.
Go on.
Have knowledge, you can.
What did I say?
Even at the start of this lesson, you said it as about you'll know whether you're you have the ability to overpower your Korean.
Yeah, the Prophet had the ability, and also jihad enough, so you were overpowering.
Jihad enough, so you actually know you have the knowledge.
But yeah, if you have knowledge, then you can't just have it like a donkey. You need to implement it. Sheikh Al-Albani said, I was reading on his statement in Arabic, he said 3 things. Someone asked him, the Sheikh asked him 3 things. Three things is this. He goes, what makes you be the way you are, your Sheikh? He said 3 things. He goes, the knowledge I take, I make sure I implement it. Second is that I don't watch other people what they've got. Yeah. Third is that I won't say something which can prove against me.
Second one's very difficult. What? For the ummah, because how many people watch other people?
But that's the thing. Forget the ummah. What about ourselves?
Yeah.
You see the point? And that's why when people say, oh, Sheikh is this, you read the story of Sheikh Al-Albani, then you understand that Fasbir Sabr and Jamila, what really means there.
If that went against him, his dad, I was reading at one point,
huh? His dad's a big boy Sheikh. What are you talking? He's a big boy Sheikh. Oh, yeah, I think he was a Hanbali. They're all Hanbalis. Hanbalis. Imam Ahmed. Who? Yeah, that's not Sufi. No. Probably Sufiya at the time, what Sufi really is, not this magical Aladdin carpet trick. Yeah, but then after it changed a bit to Hanbali more. Alright, we don't do Sufi like that. Lam Yalid, so which one? This one?
The lam means something.
Well, what is it then? It's a firm, so you got Laysa, La, Lam. Lam is complete denial. Lam yuridu minkum jaza'an wala shakura. Okay? Lam yuridu, I don't need anything. If I said La yuridu, I could say, yeah, I don't really need nothing. However, it's always something you add. Yeah, lam yuridu minkum jaza'an wala shakura. What surah is that? Where did you get that from? Did I say that last week? Good. Job done then. So that's good. I'm happy. So لا كمال غناه ولا في أسماؤه ولا في أوصافه ولا في أفعاله تبارك وتعالى فهذه السورة مشتملة على توحيد الأسماء والصفات. Shall we try and break it down? Yeah, let's see. So what's the kimalu? What's the kimalu? What's the kimalu? From the verb kamala. Good. Ghanahu. Ghani. Good. La kimalu or kamilu, you can say la kimalu ghanahu. So from the perfection of his richness, la fi asma'uhu wa la fi awsafahi. This
The first one on the top.
This one, yeah. Fi asma'ihi, because the fi the well done. Fi asma'ihi wala fi awsafahi. Yeah, safahi. Well done. Good. Was it? Okay, it was good fluke.
Yeah.
So you have to read a little tiny bit, which is good. So yeah, so from the perfection of his richness, it's not from his names or it's not from his attributes. Yeah. ولا في أفعاله تبارك وتعالى. What does it mean? لا في أفعاله. أفعل فعل فعل. What's فعل? فعل فعل. What am I doing? It's a doing. It's a verb, right? فعل is an action. فاعلون is the one who's doing it. مفعول means the one who's been influenced by the one who's doing it before. Yeah. أفعاله, which is a plural. أفعاله في أفعاله, from his actions. Yeah. تبارك وتعالى, the most blessed, the most high. فهذه, this is more. What's the first stand for? What's fir? What does fir emphasize? So I thought if I could put هذا, can't I? But why would I put fir? If I say for sofa instead of saying for sofa, if I saying yeah, it's like for هذه, so this. So the word for, the letter for, this harf is so, which shows for هذه is showing that so this, meaning this particular thing, emphasis on this particular thing. For هذه surah. So for within this surah, mushtalimala, which included ala على توحيد الأسماء والصفات كذا حرف جر على. Yeah. So مشتملة means to include. From the verb شتم. Okay, which means to include. Yeah. So I'll put that in Arabic. I'll put that in English. Yeah. So basically, what he's saying that it's not from the richness that okay, Allah's rich because of his names and attributes. No, because he's rich anyway. But what he's saying, and it's not through his actions, from the blessing of Allah. So what you perceive as being Allah being rich because of his names and attributes, that's not rich to Allah because he doesn't actually have them. You know what I mean? What فهذه surah. So in this surah mushtamala, which includes Tawheed Asma Sifat. So he's talking about here, it's not about just knowing his names and attributes, because the main thing is it belongs to Allah. That's not making him rich on his actions. But in this surah, Surah Al-Ikhlas, explains and includes and comprises everything that you need to know. The categories of Tawheed is in here. وَلَمْ يَلِدْ وَلَمْ يُولَدْ وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ is what category?
Tawheed uluhiyya.
Good. Why? Why?
So lam yalid wa lam yulad means he gets not nor is he begotten.
Good.
Wa lam yakun lahu kufuwan means that there is none unto him like him.
Okay. So which means what?
Basically, Tawheed. Isn't it rububiyyah and uluhiyya, right?
It's got everything. It's got everything, and that's one surah. It's got everything. But why is that uluhiyya?
Uluhiyya is the oneness of Allah's worship, revelation, and his lordship.
So what? Yeah, but he's got everything, all three categories. So I'm talking about this specific ayah. He said uluhiyya. Yeah, uluhiyya. What? Why is it uluhiyya? You get my point now?
I don't get how it's I know it, but
Worship, yeah? Think about it. Recite the ayah. So talk to me.
He's unique.
Good.
Because there's nothing like him.
Okay, but how?
He wasn't born and he wasn't born and he can't have a. So it's like he's
showing that he's not like anyone else. I don't know how to worship him.
But you
it's
said,
the only appropriate relationship we can have with him is worship.
okay, but you're missing the point. This is what I mean, how important it is to know about At-Tawheed, right? Because At-Tawheed is your gateway of going to Jannah. You know that? So when you say Lam Yalid, what does Lam mean?
He's saying complete denial.
Tayyib, complete denial. Yalidu. So Yalidu, we're talking, that's a subject. Yalidu is talking about having a child. So Allah said, no, I'm not having no child. So there's no child with me. Walam yulad. And I was not begotten. I wasn't born either. So I have no children. I have no thing. I have nothing that's connected to me. Yalada. So it's talking about mansub here because it's connected to the dal. Yulad is mubtada. It's talking about, this is the subject. It's talking about Allah saying he has a child, but we know he hasn't. Lam yulad, and also he wasn't born because he's a mansub. It means he belongs to someone else, which means the mother. Lam yulad. So how can he be? He's not begotten because he has no mother. Walam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. So the kufuwan here, ahadun, talking about there's nothing comparing to me. Yeah, and there's no one who's equal to me. This is uluhiyah. Why? Because you're saying, you're sanctifying that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is one. He has no children. Because if he has children, he has to die, he has to leave a will, doesn't he? Yeah? And who's gonna fight for the peace of dead earth we got here? Like the Christians. This is why it's different. Surah Al-Ikhlas and they can destroy Christianity. Because you to say that Jesus is the son of Allah, then he becomes Allah, then he has a mother, then his mother is his wife. That's a lot of ancestral business going on there. Your children can be confused.com before you even come out. You know, I'm Allah, and I'm son of Allah. You're my wife, no, my mother. Oh my gosh, what's going on here? Time here. Sorry, let's put the time back. I'm going to this way. You know, so, and their understanding of Allah or understanding of Tawheed is that Allah created everything. They agree with that. And then he had a son. He had a son with Mary, Maryam, who he created, Allah created. So look at the disrespect. You're making tamtheel with the creation. You're resembling Allah to the creation, that I made the creation and have intercourse with her. To have a demigod, like Hercules, Zeus, Hercules, right? Think of that way. All the rubbish anyway. A demigod. Isa alayhi salam. So Isa alayhi salam is going to replace Allah, isn't he? Yeah? I will take control, Dad. Don't you worry about me. Alright, what's going on this earth now? Well, I don't know what's happening. Hold on, but if you got the qualities of the divine, shouldn't you know? True? And what surah or what ayah is it that says that Allah knows? No, yeah, but no, this is a different one. Wa asirru. Surah Al-Mulk. Wa asirru qawlakum bidha, not biza, bidha. I know bidha tisudur. Yeah. ألا يعلم من ألا يعلم من
هو السميع
So yeah, so that is clear. Allah is saying, shouldn't he know? وَأَسِرُّوا قَوْلَكُمْ أَوْ جَهَرُوا بِهِ إِنَّهُ عَلِيمٌ بِذَاتِ الصُّدُورِ. Shouldn't the one who created you, should he know what's in your chest? Alimun. See, alimun means to know. Not alimu. Alimun means to know. في الصدور. Marfu. The one he should know what's in the chest. Yeah, could have fee. ألا يعلم من خلق. What's Latif?
gentle,
Yeah, it's more about knowing. It's aware. Latif means to be aware. So you should be aware of your own creation. How can you send someone to do your scouts work? I created it, but I don't know what's going on. Even from a human point of view, stupid. You made a computer, but you know how it's function. You're wasting time. You're known to be Majnoon. I'm knocking on your house. Hi, how can I help you? I don't know. Okay, let's do it again. How can I help you? I don't know. Just knocking your door. You know what I mean? Your brain goes haywire. Your wires start getting twisted. So Christianity, they're saying Allah is Jesus, Jesus is Allah. We got the same thing, but he dies on the cross. So he dies on the cross. He eats and drinks. He gets resurrected. He eats and drinks again, allegedly. Then he goes to Allah. Oh Allah, you've forsaken me. Why do you forsake me? Oh Allah, why do you forsake me? What type of son will do that to their father? Will say that to the father. What type of father will do that to their son? Why would you sacrifice your son if you got the ability to take over as you're the original? You see how it's messed up. So when you look at this, Allah's using this ayah, this surah, refuted Christianity and everything else. Any bid'ah and shirk. Zoroastrians, Selassie people, the Rastafarians, the grave worshippers, Diabandis, Burvis, and all Sufis, and all the Ufis. Yeah? Pira Sabu, huh? Thinking there, Allah, subhanAllah, he's got ginger beard, now he's a white beard, this Skittles of the rainbow all over his face. Yeah? Refutes a lot of the fire worships, tree worships, Mother Nature, is shirk as well. Yeah? Mother Teresa, how's she your mother? How can she be your mother? She can't be, can she? Which basically, Mother Teresa is a representation of being a godly woman on earth. Look at the phrase Godfather, Godmother. Allah's got a mother. Lam yalid wa lam yulad wa lam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. So I don't want it to just be, yeah, saying in the lips, yeah, mashallah, that's it. Here's my godmother. Oh, hold on. I'm to this ayah. So now we gain the ilm. You will be tested according to your iman. Get my point? So here, Lucky Melu. So we're talking about if his complete richness, names or attributes, nor his actions. Blessed be the Most High. This surah includes unification of the names and attributes of him. So it's not about how rich he's here, how rich is this, how rich is that. It's talking about the complete quality of everything that you need to know, which is within that surah. Right? This is why it's 1/3 of the Quran. Yeah. But I'm gonna stop it for now. I'm not gonna talk about the second part of Surah Al-Ikhlas. We do the second part next week, inshallah. Then we move on. Yeah. Then we move on into the grammatical Arabic, Surah An-Nas. Similar to Surah Al-Falaq, but it's one or two things different. And then we do a little test next week. Do a short little
Have you
test.
got like a whole a syllabus as in what you're planning on doing? I'm talking about in the future,
Yeah, that's what I've been saying. I said, I'm nearly finished with this, I'm nearly finished with that. Yeah, so great. I'll say 90% is done. I'm just refining things. The introduction to, the Aqidah one's going to be good. I even myself enjoy it, and I don't really get excited like that. But I enjoy it. That's why I enjoy it. I want to see some sweat in that brow. I want a chair in the back. Okay. سبحانك الله بحمدك اشهد ان لا اله الا انت استغفرك واتوب اليك حياكم الله